here with an updated video on my calendar system. The last time I did a video on this was many years ago, and I'm ready to go back into depth and explain why the system works so well. And it is what I believe single-handedly turned me from a hobby artist into a full-time artist, as well as just helped all aspects of my life. I've been doing this calendar system for so many years now, and I don't want to gatekeep. It's amazing. If you apply it, it's so helpful. Or even if you just apply some of it. So first and foremost, something I get asked a lot is, why do I have like a giant physical calendar and not, be more modern and have it on my phone or computer? And the big reason is because my phone, my computer are my biggest distractions. It is where I get lost in rabbit holes of websites and searching social media and all those types of things. And this whole calendar is about productivity. So the less I touch my phone, the less I touch my online calendar, the better. I want to be able to just see it and have it all here and be able to go from one task to the next task, no problem, no distractions. Because, it's so easy to be like on a good groove, and then you check what you're supposed to do next on your phone, which is your biggest distraction, and then next thing you know, you're scrolling and you forgot what you were supposed to do and you're procrastinating. So having it physically really helps with that. Also, having it be a giant physical calendar, and especially putting it in a space that you walk by every day and that you can't ignore, is huge. Because sometimes to-do lists and calendars are kind of like the type of thing where, like, out of sight, out of mind. And if you have it on your phone or even on a notebook or something, then you can put it away and forget about it, and you don't see it that day, and you're like, oh, like, I don't have to do anything, it's all good. Versus this giant calendar, if it's somewhere that you pass by, you're gonna be like, yeah, I have to do that. So that's a really good reason why also you want a giant physical calendar. This one is by Party Funny, even though we're not using it at a party and it's not super funny, and I'm not sponsored anyway. This is just the one I've used for so many years. So let's get into the actual system. So another huge downfall in organization and productivity is the never-ending to-do list. I'm sure you're familiar. You add a few things on a to-do list and it gets longer and longer and longer, and it gets overwhelming, and next thing you know, you have a to-do list with hundreds of things that you're never gonna do. So I want you to have that to-do list and put it on the calendar. So let's say one of your to-do lists is to update your website. Instead of having that and having it be vague, I want you to pick a day, let's say like the 21st, to update your homepage. And you're gonna write it physically on that calendar. And now, instead of having the super long to-do list, you're assigning it specific days. So that's what can really help with the calendar system. And next, we're gonna jump into doing an example day of how I structured the day as a whole. And something really important to know is, make sure you do this the day before. So I have a time slot right before I start getting ready for bed and meditating to go into my little work area and schedule out the next day, because you're gonna be so much more ambitious if you schedule it the day before, versus when you schedule stuff the day of, you're just gonna be lazy. You're like, oh, I don't feel like doing much today, or oh, I'll go easy on myself today. And trust me, you're gonna schedule so much less stuff if you do it the day of. And also, if you do it the day before, you wake up and you're ready to go, and you're ready to just start doing the task because it's already figured out for you. So it's less of a burden of, oh, like, I just woke up and let me go have my coffee and have breakfast, and oh, now I'm doing this thing. Next thing you know, it's like 3 p.m. You haven't scheduled your day yet. So always, most importantly of all, even if you're just gonna schedule one thing or two things, do it the day before. It's gonna help you so much. All right, so let's jump into a close-up and talk about an example day. All right, so we're gonna do an example day, and we're gonna pretend this is the 28th. So what I wanna do throughout the month is to add my to-do list on here. So let's say one of those things is updating homepage, and maybe organizing my art studio, and maybe even teaching an online class. Let's say teach class at 3 p.m. So this is something that I would already have on here, and once I get to this day, like, you know, this is stuff that I put at the beginning of the month, or when someone asks me to have a class, I put that, you know, a few days before. And now I'm starting to plan the next day. So I'm usually would do this on the 27th. The night of the 27th, I'm gonna plan this day. So here's what I do. So this area here is for kind of like your things that you should do that day, like your, you know, where you can just kind of take notes days before. So there's that. Now let's actually, so it's, let's say the night of the 27th, and what I like to do is I like to divide this in thirds, just like that. So this calendar already has some blocks, and then I just divided it into thirds. And then I'm going to put my hours of my day. So my schedule starts at 8 a.m., but you can put, if you wake up earlier or later, you can put whatever time that you like. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and number the hours of the day. So these are like my hours that I have to do stuff in the day. So just gonna go ahead and put all the hours that are available for me to do stuff. Okay, and usually around like 10:30, I start winding down to go to bed. So now we're gonna put the stuff that we need to do. So if at 3 p.m. we have to teach a class, I'm gonna go ahead and put class and extra credit if you use a different color for your work stuff. You can color code stuff if you want, or you can just, you know, keep it simple, write all in the same color. I like to put all my work stuff in pink. So I'm gonna put class, so that's a 2-hour class. So this is from 3 until 5. I'm gonna be teaching, all right? And then let's say I start kind of blocking in my usual day. So here you wanna put like everything you need to do, even from eating, from everything that takes time in your day. So let's say at 8, I wake up, make my bed, and yeah, that's just, I just like leaving the first hour super vague to just kind of like wake up, maybe have some tea. So I'm just gonna put wake up and make my bed. Then next I am going to paint. So I'm gonna put paint. And of course you can change this if this is like, I've been liking like kind of waking up and immediately getting into a flow state, because when you wake up, it's such a great opportunity to be in natural flow. So I've been enjoying waking up and just painting. So, but this can be writing or making music or whatever you'd like. Next, I'm gonna meditate. So if it's halfway, this is a given, but if it's like from 9 until halfway, that means it's half an hour. So I paint from 9 to 9:30 approximately. And of course, this isn't like set in stone. So if like, let's say I get a call at like 10 a.m. and everything goes out the window and I have to suddenly run out and do some errands, like it's okay. That's why it's a white erase marker, like a whiteboard. You can erase things. You can switch it up. If like all of a sudden all these hours are gone and you just have these hours, you can update. So don't feel nervous to change it. That's why it's available to be erased. So then, okay, but let's keep going. I'm gonna meditate. And of course, I like to just kind of like not write the whole thing out. I just put MED. And the reason I circle is because I like to circle the really, really important stuff. But we'll get into that later. Okay, so 10, let's say I'm gonna work out. And sometimes I just put W, but I'll write out. I'll work out for an hour, then I'll shower. Then I will have breakfast. Or, you know, usually I kind of have, it's more of a brunch, like breakfast, lunch, brunch. And give myself a solid like hour. So that's from like 11:30 to 12:30. I'll have brunch. And then I'm going to put in all the other stuff in my day that I have to do. So at like 6, I'm going to have dinner. At 10, I'm going to go to sleep. At 11, I'm going to meditate again. And make sure you do this. You put time to schedule your next day. So to schedule the next day, I'm going to put it up here. And I'm just going to put schedule or like plan. So that's short for plan the next day. And get ready for bed. D for ready for bed. Usually I shorthand all this, but I'm trying to write it out for you guys. Okay? All right, so, and at 8, I like to go for a walk. Nice. Get some exercise, more exercise. All right, and then I have all these other hours that are blank and available, so that's where I'm gonna put in some of those other work activities. So let's say I'm gonna give myself this time to update homepage. And let's say organize studio. Okay. And now I have these extra, I have this extra half an hour here. Let's put just art. I'm gonna make some art. I can just write it, art, paint, and paint. So you can fill it in with, whatever kind of work stuff you want. And I like to use the pink because now I can just like really easily see how many hours I'm working. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and half an hour, that's 7 hours. So I can like easily see, okay, am I working enough? And last thing I like to do is circle some of the really important stuff. So for me, that's like working out, meditating twice a day, painting at least once, and then I'll give myself one more thing that's really, really important. If I don't do anything else, it's that. And for me, that's gonna be teaching that class. So worst case scenario, if suddenly I have to, do a bunch of other stuff, really a lot of this other stuff can get canceled, and that's okay. But I try to really tackle those circled ones, which is meditating twice a day, working out, painting, and doing that main goal, which is for this day, let's say teach that class. So this is how I do my calendar system. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And yeah, it's great. I hope you guys like it. It's made me so much more productive because I can look at any time. It's 2 p.m. Let's say I know I'm supposed to be organizing my art studio, and it's so easy to just switch this. Let's say like, bam, I don't want to do that at 7. I want to instead go for a longer walk. So very easy to switch, very easy to modify, and just helps me meet all those goals and prevents that overwhelming, super long to-do list. All right, hope this helps. Much love.